Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone, my name is Nurul. So I will tell you about some local story. The first story is about Ande Lumut. A long time ago, there were two kingdoms in the region called Kahuripan. They are Jenggala Kingdom, ruled by King Jayeng Negara, and Kediri Kingdom, ruled by King Jayeng Rana. The kings were asked to unify their kingdom by their ancestor King Airlangga. They finally decided to do intrigue a marriage of their descendant, Prince Panji Asmarabangun and Princess Dewi Sakartaji. They all lived happily together as a big family. One day, the kingdom was attacked by enemy. The battle was fierce that included the life of Princess Dewi Sakartaji. The princess decided to flee and hide in a village far away from Jenggala. In order to protect herself, Princess Dewi Sakartaji changed her identity into Klinting Kuning and lived in a woman's house by the name Nyai Intan with her daughter, Klinting Abang, Klinting Ijo, and Klinting Biru. Nyai Intan turned out to be an evil. She made Klinting Kuning to do all the housework such as cooking, doing the laundry, cleaning the house every day. The daughter was no different. They acted as if Klinting Kuning was their housemaid. They yelled at her whenever they want something. They only fed Klinting Kuning once a day. Meanwhile, at the kingdom, Prince Panji Asmarabangun had successfully defeated the enemy. At that moment, he realized that his beloved wife was not in the palace anymore and no one knew her whereabouts. He was so sad and decided to send some of his bodyguards to search for his wife. They went for a couple of days until one day, one of the bodyguards returned to the place with a news. Your Majesty, please forgive me to interrupt your rest, sighed the bodyguard. It's okay. Have you looked at my wife, soldier? Sighed the prince. My apology, Your Majesty. I have not found your wife yet, but I found a girl that looked like Princess Dewi Sakartaji in a village far away from her. I could comfort it because she was working in a house of a rich widow as a housemaid, sighed the bodyguard. The prince decided to disguise as a handsome and rich man looking for a wife to try the girl to come to him so that he will be able to see if the girl was truly his beloved wife or not. He went to the Dapan village near Bengawan Solo River. The village was right across the village where Klinting Kuning lived. The princess stayed in an old window house by the name Mbok Randa and changed his name into Ande Lumut. Klinting Abang, Ijo, and Biru were very happy to hear the news. All of them wished to marry the handsome Ande Lumut. They prepared themselves and they wore their best clothes so they become ready. Klinting Kuning tried to praise them, but she got mockery in return from her sister. They did not allow Klinting Kuning to go to the Dapan village to see Ande Lumut. They sent her to the river to do the laundry and she followed. Klinting Kuning collects all the dirty clothes and went to the river. Truthfully, she had no intention to go with her sister to Dadapan village because she only loved one man in her life, and the man is her husband, Prince Panji Asmarabangun. She promised to herself that she will always be faithful to her husband. When she was doing the laundry, suddenly a crane came to her. The crane can talk just like a man, and it broke a whip on its hole. The crane started talking to the princess. It said that the princess had to go to the Daban village and she will meet her husband, Prince Panji Asmarabangun, in the village. The crane also gave her the whip and asked to her as it when she needed it. After that, the crane left. Klinting Kuning rushed back to the house and prepared herself to the Godadapan village. Meanwhile, Klinting Abang, Ijo and Biru were already at the river bank. The river was very large and there was no boat around. When they were still trying to figure out to get to the other side of the river, Klinting Abang saw a hook creature floating on the water. It was a giant crab and its name is Yuyu Kangkang. They didn't know that Yuyu Kangkang was actually the servant of Ande Ande Lumut, and he was assigned to test every candidate of his wife. Klinting Abang asked if Yuyu Kangkang was willing to take them to the other side of the river. Yuyu Kangkang smiled and said he will take them on his back to the other side of the river if they agree to kiss him as the reward. All of them agreed to Yuyu Kangkang request because they really want to go to the Daban village. So they kissed the giant crab, and after that, Yuyu Kangkang took all of them across the river. A couple of minutes later, Klinting Kuning also arrived at the river bank. She brought the whip from the crane with her. Yuyu Kangkang gave her the sun over just like her sister, but she refused. She kept asking to Yuyu Kangkang to take her, and Yuyu Kangkang kept asking the sun over, but she didn't change her mind. Losing her patience, Klinting Kuning hissed the whip to the river, and the instant the water subsides, Yuyu Kangkang was scared to see that, and then he Klinting Kuning to the other side of the river for free. The three sisters arrived first before Klinting Kuning. They showed their beauty to Ande Ande Lumut right away. Unfortunately, Ande Ande Lumut decided to not chase any of them. They were upset and asked him to explain his reason. When Ande Ande Lumut was about to explain his reason to the three sisters, suddenly Klinting Kuning arrived at the door. Ande Ande Lumut walked toward her right away and he said, "I choose this girl to be my wife." The three sisters became so angry, and they said, "Why don't you choose one of us?" After that, Ande Ande Lumut introduced them to his loyal friends, Yuyu Kangkang, and he said, "I didn't choose any of you because you gave your precious kiss to Yuyu Kangkang so easily. And the only one who refused to do so is Klinting Kuning." Klinting Kuning was so happy because she recognized her husband since the moment she stood at the door. She asked the magic whip to turn her back into a beautiful princess. Finally, that's reunited reunited and live in their place happily along with Randa, who helped the princess to go back with his wife. Okay, the story is about bawang merah bawang putih. Once upon a time, three lived a window, a beautiful daughter and beautiful stepdaughter. Her daughter name is bawang merah and her stepdaughter name is bawang putih. Her husband, bawang putih biological father, has passed away a long time ago. The three of the time left a small village. The window was not a nice lady. She treated bawang putih very badly. She made bawang putih to do all the chores such as doing the laundry, serving the mail, cleaning the house, keeping the water supply, and many more. Her daughter, bawang merah, is just like her. She is lazy, arrogant, greedy, and envious. She treats bawang putih as a housemaid for her. Whereas bawang putih is the opposite of her stepsister. She is humble, unpretentious, diligent, honest, and keen-hearted. She always follows her stepmother's instructions without complaining. One day, bawang putih was doing the laundry at the riverbank. She was too busy cleaning the clothes that she didn't realize that one of the stepmother's favorite clothes fell into the river and drifted away. By the time she had finished the laundry, she realized that tree was a missing clothes. She tried to look for it anywhere, but she could find. She was so worried because she knew that her stepmother will be very angry when she found out that her favorite clothes was missing. Bawang putih decided to follow the river flow, hoping the sea will find the lost clothes. Every time she met someone near the river, she walked asked them about the clothes, but no one saw it until she met a fisherman who claimed to do sand it floating in front of him a while ago. The fisherman told bawang putih to catch it because they believed the clothes must be not far from there. Bawang putih thanked the fisherman and continued her search. Bawang putih kept walking at the river bank until they saw that there is an intersection of the river that flow into a cave. She entered the cave and she found on that there is an older woman living in the cave alone. Bawang putih asked the old woman about the missing clothes. It turned out that the old woman found in the front of the cave and kept it. Bawang putih asked the old woman return the clothes to her, and she explained it was her stepmother's favorite clothes and she will be angry if bawang putih didn't bring it back. Its old woman agreed to return the clothes, but she asked bawang putih to help her to cook and to clean the place. Bawang putih agreed with the old woman's request. She started to cook, and after the clean the cave, the job was easy for her because she did every day at home. That old woman was satisfied with the result as she gave back the clothes to bawang putih. She also overhead to pumping as a were for her help. Bawang putih caused the smile on. After that, bawang putih thanks the woman and went back to her house. When Bawang Putih arrived at her house, his stepmother and his stepsister was mad and because she come home late. Bawang Putih tried to explain everything to them, but they become more angry because she only broke a sign pumping. Her stepmother to the pumping from the and throw in the floor. The pumping started and a lot of jewelry made in the gulf, and the woman came out and the pumping. Of all of them were surprised. The stepmother collects all of jewelry right away. She she even more upset after the becomes. Bawang Putih cuts to bring the small pumping inside to the big one. The next day, Bawang Merah and her mother, planning to recreate the situation expired Bawang Putih yesterday. Bawang Merah threw a cloth on purpose into the river and the drift away. She followed until she reached the cave where the old woman lived. The old woman gave her the same request as she gave to Bawang Putih yesterday, but Bawang Merah refused in the sea inside the old woman to help over the big pumping. The older woman gave the pumping to her. Bawang Merah rushed back to house when she refused to pumping from the old woman. When she arrived at home, her mother was waiting for her in the front of the house. They caught wide and lunged to open to the pumping and collect the jewelry inside it. They smashed the pumping to the floor, but he not jewelry coming out of the pumping. Inside to a lot of snakes crawled out of the pumping. The snake was about to attack them when suddenly Bawang Putih come out from the house and attacked the snake by using a broom. The snake fled and were safe. Bawang Merah and her mother regret their action and apologized to Bawang Putih. They realized their mistake and promised that they will never treat Bawang Putih like they used to. Bawang Putih forgave them and they all lived happily after that. Okay, the next story is about golden snail. Long time ago, there lived two princesses in a big kingdom in Java. Their names were Dewi Galuh and Chandra Kirana. They have an opposite personality. Chandra Kirana was beautiful and kind while Dewi Galuh was evil and envious. They were never really close to each other because every time Chandra Kirana had something, Dewi Galuh will always try to find a way to make it hers. One day, Chandra Kirana was agents with the crown prince of Kahuripan Kingdom named Raden Inu Kartapati. He was a wise, handsome, brave, keen and talented. A lot of women in his kingdom adored him. Dewi Galuh was very jealous of Chandra Kirana because Dewi Galuh crushed on Raden Inu Kartapati. She started to use her cunning mind to find a way to get rid of Chandra Kirana from him. Dewi Galuh finally decided to ask the help of the witch to crush Chandra Kirana. The witch agreed to help her, but she also told her that her magic had the weakness. One day, when Chandra Kirana was walking at the beach and the witch saw up in front of her, the witch started to cast her spell toward Chandra Kirana and turned her into a golden snake. The which they pick the golden snail up to throw into the ocean. Before that, the witch told the golden snail that she will be able to return to her original form when she meets her true love. One day, old lady was walking at the beach. She was the golden snail from this tale. She designed the approach is because it was beautiful. She thought that it would be a good pet for her. After that, she picked it up and broke its home. She put the golden snail in the water jar. The next day, when she woke up in the morning, she found a lot of food he served on the table. She tasted and the written out to be very delicious. She was very hungry, so she didn't think so much about where then the food come from even though she was actually surprised. When she let it finish her breakfast, the old lady went out to look for some fish. She returned of the afternoon. Every day, the old lady wake up. The same thing happened over again. So many delicious food was served on the table. After a couple of days, they decide to find out who the person behind all the decent food on her table every day. One One morning, she printed to went out as she used to do, but she didn't really go. She hid at her backyard and waited for a couple of minutes. After she took a step inside through the window. She was golden snail turned into a beautiful lady. She also watched her cooking and cleaning the house. The old lady walked back the house and surprised Chandra Kirana. "Who are you, my dear?" she said the old lady. "I'm Chandra Kirana, Iris of a princess of the kingdom," said Chandra Kirana. "What happened to you?" asked the old lady. "I was caught by an evil witch sent by my sister, because my sister was evil to me," Chandra Kirana replied to the old lady question. After the Chandra Kirana turned back into the golden snail. Meanwhile, at the place, Raden Inu Kartapati was doing everything that he can find Chandra Kirana. He finally decided to disguise himself an ordinary village so he can continue the search by himself. He walked from one house to another trying to talk to the villager and collecting information about his beloved fiancé. No one gave him valuable information about it, so he continued to search to another village. One day, Raden Indukatarpati was very tired and thirsty. She saw a small hut that decided to go there. He knocked the door several times until finally someone opened the door. He was very surprised to see that the person who opened the door was his beloved fiancé, Chandra Kirana. They were very happy. The curse broke forever because Chandra Kirana finally met her true love. Chandra Kirana taught him everything. They decided to went back to the place along with the old lady. At the place, Chandra Kirana told the whole story to her father. The king summoned Dewi Galuh to the main hall. When she showed up the main hall, the saw Chandra Kirana Raden Inu Katarpati was standing next to her father. She realized that her father knew what she did to the sister the moment she entered the room. So she ran away from the plage into the forest. Unfortunately, she lived into the cliff. The story is about Jakatarup and seven angels. Long times ago, there lived an old woman with her son in a small village in Java. The name of the boy is Jakatarup. He was a diligent boy. He always helped his mother on the wheat field. As he grew older, he became a strong and handsome man. He loved his mother so much and he was always keen to her. They lived happily together until one day the old woman passed away, leaving Jakatarup all by himself. Everything started to change after that. Jakatarup started to lose his spirit to work. He spent most of his time starting at the ceilings of his house and daydreaming. One day, Jakatarup dreams of eating meat. So when he wake up in the morning, he decided to go to the forest to hunt a deer. He brought his blowpipe with him. He wandered in the forest from the morning till the afternoon, but he didn't find any deer or the mouse there. He then realized that he got deeper into the forest until he was very tired and decided to take a rest under a big tree near a small lake. It was windy at the moment and Jakatarup fell asleep right away. A few moments later, Jakatarup woke up because he heard a woman lounged in the distance. He was curious about the voice, so he decided to check it. It turned out the voice was coming from the lake. Jakatarup took a peg from Bass neck to the lake and he saw seven beautiful women who trained the angel were having fun in the lake. A few moments later, Jakatarup woke up because he heard woman loud in the distance. He was curious about the voice, so decided to check it. It turned out the voice was coming from the lake. Jakatarup took back from Bass next to the lake and showed seven beautiful women who turned out to be angels who were having fun in the lake. Jakatarup was amazed by their exceptional beauty. He always saw some beauty craft near the lake. He thought that it must be their craft, so he decided to like one of the and hide it. After that, Jakatarup kept watching an angel until they finished playing in the lake. The angels start preparing themselves to return to the sky. But one of them called find her scrap. Her name was Nawang Wulan. The other angels asked Nawang Wulan to be hurry because they have to return to the sky right away. Nawang Wulan cried because she still could look at the scrap and she could fly to the sky with Daddy. His sister took pity on her, but they could do anything. It's time for them to return to the sky. So they left Nawang Wulan alone on Earth. Nawang Wulan just stayed there only and squared. Jakatarup who watched him from distance all this time tried to approach her. He pretended to ask her about what has happened to her to she cried like that. Nawang Wulan, who had no idea that Jakatarup was on the height his cried, tried to explain to him that his sister left her alone at the lake. Jakatarup overheard his helped to be her company. After that, Jakatarub invited her to his house and she agreed to go there. The life of Jakatarub started to change with the presence of the Nawang Wulan in his life. Jakatarub found his spirit back to work on the rich field. The fields each other his wife happiness until a couple months later they decide to get married. Jakatarub became even happier after that. He loved his wife so much that it gave energy to work double than he used to do. Their life became more complete when Nawang Wulan gave birth to their first child. It was a girl, and they named her Nawangsi. Since they got married, Nawang Wulan asked her husband to promise one thing to her. The promise was Jakatarub should never open the cooking pan whenever Nawang Wulan was cooking rich. Jakatarub agreed to this request, but one day when Nawang Wulan left the kitchen for a while, Jakatarub opened the cooking pan and checked what was in it. He found that his wife cooking a grain of rich returned it into a pan full of cooking rich. It was actually Nawang Wulan's spiritual power, but since Jakatarub broke the agreement, Nawang Wulan's spiritual power was disappeared. Ever since that way, Nawang Wulan had to cook just like any ordinary girl. This made the consumption on rich become so high, and they spent their restock in the storage so fast. One day, when their stock was about to run out, Nawang Wulan found her scrap bag under the restock. He finally realized that her husband was the one who had his scrap. He was very upset to her husband. She put on the scrap and went to confront her husband. Nawang Wulan told her husband that she was disappointed with him because he was lying all this time. She always said that she will return to the sky right away. Jakatarub asked to her forgiveness, and he also asked her to stay with him and the desert. But Nawang Wulan has made up her mind to return to the sky, and nothing will be able to change that. Before she left, Nawang Wulan asked to Jakatarub to build a small hand in the front of their house, and she also asked him to put Dajar in the heart every night, so she could feed her and cook care of her. After that, Nawang Wulan flew. Apa nih? After that, Nawang Wulan flew to the sky and left Jakatarub with their children. Jakatarub fulfilled Nawang Wulan's request and built the small hut as instruction. After that, Nawang Wulan flew. After that, Nawang Wulan flew to the sky and left Jakatarub with the children. Jakatarub fulfilled Nawang Wulan's request and built the small hut as her instructed. After that, Jakatarub can only watch his daughter and his wife playing at the bat hut from his house every night. Nawang Wulan came to the hut to take care of Nawangsi until she left asleep, and then Nawang Wulan returned to the sky after that. It happened every day until Nawangsi grew older. Although they never see each other again when Nawangsi has grown up, but every time They need something that will become right away, and they believe it was from Nawang Wulan.